Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. I'm an author and depression survivor. Welcome to your Depression Recovery channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. The title of today's video is How to Survive the Loss of a Love. But before we start, of course, we have to do our joke. Did you hear about the thief who stole a calendar? He got 12 months. As I said, the title of today's video is How to Survive the Loss of a Love. Now, there are many causes of depression, and in a previous video I said, what is the number one cause? Well, I came to the conclusion, based on my experience and others, that it's essentially the loss of a relationship. Now, this relationship could be between a married couple or unmarried couple. It could be straight or gay. The common denominator is the emotional connection, the emotional support that people give each other, and the mutual love and respect that comes with it. After all, human beings are social animals, and relationships take on a very important role in our well-being. After all, didn't Sigmund Freud say that mental health is the ability to love and to work? But what happens when the person we love, when the relationship sours, the person dies? How does the person who is dealing with the loss based on desertion, divorce, or death cope with this loss and not fall into a deep depression? The first thing to understand is that grief and loss are a natural part of losing an attachment figure. There's no escaping this. That's the price we pay for loving. However, while we cannot avoid the pain, we can practice good self-care while we are going through the grieving process. And I have some ideas about this I'd like to share with you. Practicing good self-care begins, of course, with taking care of your physical body the best you can. This means exercise, eating well, drinking lots of fluids, and getting regular sleep. It also really helps to have a regular routine. I remember one woman who lost her husband said, "What saved me was my job. It gave me a place to go every day and to be around sympathetic people I could connect with. Without my job, I don't know how I would have made it." Speaking of connecting with others, here's some other ways to get social support besides your job: friends and family, professional counselor, that really helps. Going to your place of worship, and joining a support group. I should know, I used to run them. Support groups are really, really helpful because you get to be around people going through what you're going through. You can share the pain, you can validate each other, give each other ideas. Very, very potent. And fortunately, many hospitals and counseling centers run grief groups. In addition, there were meetup groups. I know we're kind of hopefully nearing the end of the pandemic, but before that happened, one of the members of my support groups who went through a really painful divorce said, joining a divorce support group to meet up really got her through the hard times and made her recovery possible. Also, if you've been in a long-term relationship, it's a good idea to wait for a while. Give yourself a period of time to mourn before you start dating. Because if you rush into a relationship from a needy place, you can make poor decisions and end up with someone who's not healthy for you. We used to call this being in a rebound relationship. Don't know if they still use the term, but yeah, a rebound relationship. So instead, try to give yourself some time to mourn. Then you can come from a stable place when you go out and date and make more healthy choices. As I said, grief is a normal process of losing someone. But for some people, grief turns into clinical depression. Now, how do you tell the difference between grieving and being super depressed? Well, they have a lot in common. For instance, losing your appetite, sleep disruptions, not enjoying the things you used to, sadness and crying. But there are some important differences. One main difference between grieving and becoming clinically depressed is when you're clinically depressed, you have major feelings of worthlessness, inappropriate guilt. It was my fault. What did I do? And you feel like without a partner, you're nothing. Other difference is that people with depression excessively ruminate. I should know. I did a video called How to Stop Ruminating while I was ruminating, right? Their mind goes over and over again about the relationship. What happened? What could I have done differently? What could have, should have been? It's like being on an endless merry-go-round. The other thing is that when people are grieving, they may be laid low, but when people are severely depressed, they can hardly function. For example, they stop returning phone calls. They don't open the mail. They stop doing dishes. And they let their personal hygiene slide and don't take baths, do showers, just lie around all day, looking and feeling miserable. Finally, again, while people who have undergone a loss are incredibly sad and really bad for many years, when a person gets clinically depressed, they feel hopeless, totally hopeless, and suicidal. And this is borne out by the fact that 90% of the people who do die by suicide had a mental illness. So if it starts out as a loss, as it did with me, and you notice yourself getting a lot worse over time instead of gradually better, and you feel you're having some of these symptoms of depression, please call up your therapist, or if you don't have one, reach out for a mental health professional. I think I have a video about that, but you can always go to Psychology Today, find a therapist website. It's wonderful. Type in your zip code. A lot of good people will come up in your area because depression can be treated. Finally, it's important to remember that, quote, "this too shall pass," and that time is the great healer. I'm 72. I've been around for a while, seen a lot of people lose partners to death and divorce, and most of them remarry or find new relationships. And even if you don't, it's possible to regain your happiness. After all, I know a lot of single friends who are perfectly content with their lives. Finally, as I said in my video, a broken heart is an open heart. Sometimes the pain of loss is not all bad. It can open our hearts and help us have more compassion for the suffering of others. I remember Leonard Cohen's favorite line, "There's a crack in everything, that's how the light gets in." And as the French novelist Leon Bloy famously said, "There are places in the heart that do not yet exist. Pain must enter in for them to come to be." This has been Douglas Bloch. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video, got something from it. I hope it gave you some comfort and solace. If you like it, please give it a like or put your comment in the comments section, or you can email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you would like to subscribe to this channel, just click on my photo during the closing credits, and you'll be taken to the subscribe page. And if you click on the bell to the right of the button, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or a new live chat. And finally, if you'd like to become a member of this channel, a sustaining member, just click on the Patreon image and you'll be taken to my crowdfunding site. And until we meet again, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much for watching.